I think it's safe to say we know exercise is good and increases your odds of looking cool naked. But is it cancer killing cool? Buckle up. It is time for biological school.
Yes!
That was pretty cheesy, wasn't it? Damn it, production team. Yo. What is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. Today, we yet again have some new data on the docket, specifically exploring if acute exercise can impact the proliferation of one of the most common types of cancers us intelligent walking apes face: colon cancer. And might I add, one of the most preventable ones too. So we'll start with a brief overview of what we know, then review this new in vitro data that just hit the scientific streets, and finally some ways and targets to get your badonkadonk moving in the right direction again. Unless, of course, it's past the strategically placed fruit on the counter and to the hidden chocolate in the freezer. I know. It's for the flavonoids, the beneficial flavonoids. I got it. Me too. We better get going before I, take a break to go check my freezer. Cancers battle with exercise. You've heard the adage from my mouth a million times by now, but I'll say it once more for good luck. Movement is medicine. Motion is lotion. In the short term and the long. 2% of your day, or 30 strategic minutes of intentional movement, may be the most powerful intervention that any of us can deploy. An intervention, might I add, that gets fully maximized by high quality sleep and nutrient-dense real food. And if you want to know why and how profound an impact daily movement has on our overall health, check out these two previous videos here where we explore just that. Now, just in case you forgot, let me remind you the best part of all this. It be free 99. It don't cost a dime, only time. By the way, it took me like 3 years to come up with all those rhymes. I'm a peacock cat. You gotta let me shine. No, see, that one didn't work. All that being said, what do we know about its cancer-fighting effects? Let's explore. During a bout of exercise, skeletal muscle, as well as other organs, glands, and tissue, release bioactive molecules, which can induce a vast change in our biochemistry, genetic expression, and many other cellular functions. It is this laundry list of downstream pathways that are thought to be at the root of movement's health and longevity modulating powers. And there happens to be strong epidemiological literature suggesting that physical exercise protects against certain types of cancers, one being colon cancer. In fact, current estimates suggest that achieving the highest versus lowest levels of physical activity reduces the relative risk of developing colon cancer by 12 to 28%. Numbers I'll happily take any day of the week. And get this, physical activity even after a colon cancer diagnosis is also associated with a decreased risk of cancer-specific mortality and reoccurrence. And there's a good chance that this is the effect that exercise is having without stacking any other healthy habits, as animal models have shown that physical activity alone, without dietary modification or changes in body weight, reduces tumor progression, indicating that physical activity may reduce colon cancer risk, at least partly through biological mechanisms other than body fat associated pathways. You mean to tell me that it's not all about fat? More on that here. I wonder what all these other mechanisms could potentially be. Let's look at the new data. Researchers out of Newcastle University sought to answer this very question. Using a small yet thorough randomized control human crossover study, they recruited 16 men between the ages of 50 and 80, all of whom had lifestyle risk factors of colon cancer, such as being overweight and not moving that badonka-donk a lot or being sedentary. You know, kind of like the majority of Western society. The researchers put the participants on a exercise protocol to see how acute exercise impacted the growth and proliferation of in vitro, outside the body, cancer cells. The intervention consisted of 6 5-minute cycling intervals at 60% max heart rate, separated by 2.5 minutes of active recovery. Basically a little Tabata action. I like how these scientists think. They drew blood samples from participants before and after bouts of exercise to again monitor cell proliferation between exercise and control conditions. And, as a secondary outcome, to explore potential molecular mechanisms of action, including exercise-induced changes in serum cytokines, which are inflammatory markers, and protein expression. So, what did they find? First, they saw that blood samples collected straight after exercise slowed the growth of cancer cells compared to those collected at rest. You've got my attention. Go on. Second, they found that this was associated with decreased levels of a biomarker associated with DNA double-strand breaks, or what is thought to be one of the main drivers of cancer. And this biomarker is called intracellular YH2AX, indicating a reduction in DNA damage. And just a friendly reminder, DNA damage happens to be one of the underlying drivers of aging as well. But wait, there's more. They also found that acute exercise was associated with an increase in serum levels of IL-6, or interleukin-6, which is an inflammatory cytokine that has recently been found to reduce cancer growth. However, be warned. IL-6, just like so many other things in biology, is a double-edged sword, as long-term chronic exposure has been shown to increase the proliferation and growth of cancer. Once again, just as we talk about in basically every other video, it's all about the context. Researchers concluded that stimulating colon cancer cells with serum obtained immediately after exercise reduced cell proliferation on average around 6%. And I'll just say, that might not seem like a lot, but we gotta remember, this was 30 minutes of exercise in people who did not exercise. So imagine the compounding health interest you could potentially obtain for doing this consistently. They also concluded that bioactive compounds that are released into systemic circulation elicit a beneficial effect to colon cancer cells and downregulate cell proliferation, hypothesizing that exercise facilitated DNA double-strand break repair with potential mechanisms including the increase in free radical scavenging enzymes. So although this can't speak for all types of cancer, and specifically translate one-for-one with the complex response that happens in the human body, research like this is encouraging to know that the potential power of meaningful health change lies in the hands of the individual. So how can we harness this power? Moving more. You've heard me say this numerous times, but I will say it once more. When we are talking about health and longevity, prevention is always easier than reversal. Let me say that again, because obviously I was lying when I said I would only say it one more time. If you want to live a long, prosperous, healthy life, you should be focusing on disease prevention rather than dealing with the difficult, complicated, debilitating challenge of management and reversal. Your goal as an owner of your health should be health creation and maintenance, not I'll just deal with it when it happens. Because if you're thinking that way, it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And as it pertains to exercise being one of those tools, we're talking not only one of the most physical and mental health promoting interventions on the market, but one of the most affordable ones too. You just gotta do it. Which, trust me, I know is hard. That's why we talk about the secret to bridging the gap between motivation and discipline in this video here. And although there's a lot of nuance across all types of cancer, and we never really get a good explanation of what triggers its uncontrollable proliferation, this is an area where we must channel Stoic philosophy. We must control what we can control and do what we can with what we got, which is the knowledge that the healthier lifestyle you live, the more movement you get, the better sleep you obtain, the circadian alignment that you keep, the real food that you eat, the stress mitigation that you perform, and the everyday environment that you decide to inhabit have substantial roles in modulating your internal, cellular, metabolic, and biochemical state, and thus the way your genome or genetic code is expressed, which all together end up either making you more resilient or susceptible. And when it comes to cancer, we know certain types, like colon cancer, which is the third most common cancer across the globe, is highly preventable and very treatable when caught early. Thus, is something we should be actively mitigating against, right? So let's find a way to get that badonkadonk off the couch and into motion. Just pretend I'm not sitting on a couch right now. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? And no, it doesn't need to be high intensity interval training or hours and hours in the gym. I, for one, haven't been in a gym in over 2 years. The best way is to make it sustainable, and to make it sustainable is finding something that you actually like to do. You could try things like taking your morning coffee or afternoon conference call for a walk. Dust off the bike, get in the garden, play with the kids or grandkids. Hell, dance while you're vacuuming. I mean, that's how I get my weekly cardio in. And if you're looking to get more technical, it's typically recommended that you get between 2 and 4 hours of zone 2 training per week, which is activity that gets you working around 60 to 70% of your max heart rate measured in beats per minute. And a good non-technical way to measure this is to work just hard enough that it is too difficult to have a fluent conversation. And as we know from this video here, maintaining muscle mass is not only advantageous, but critical for longevity as we age. So dedicating a few days a week to strength or resistance training is a great goal to strive for. By the way, if you're interested, have hundreds of workouts on this channel. You can check out the playlist for plenty of sweat-inducing fun. And remember, in this game called life, persistent in progress is always more important than perfection. The facts of the matter are, we humans have never been this empowered with knowledge. Knowledge that allows us to dictate our mood, feel, cognition, and physiological state, not only in the here and now, but over the long term as well. So make the conscious decision to own it. Own your health, own your outcome. You won't be sorry you did. And if you need a little extra help getting to where you want to go, you can join the weekly challenges in the Patreon, where we as a group implement longevity-focused, sustainable change week by week, habit by habit, slowly and steadily getting healthy from the inside out. All the links for that will be in the description below. And at the end of the day, when you put it all in perspective, the absolute worst case scenario from all this exercise is you'll just look cool naked. That wasn't supposed to be the closing. Damn it, production team.